Ride car, life good. War boy steal car, kill leader. Car gone. Think about car. Max mad. That's the name of the game.
What they'll tell you is that Mad Max is the most underrated game ever. They'll say it was Warner Brothers Fanta made from their scraps and their bets. They'll tell you that Avalanche captured the atmosphere of the wastelands of Mad Max verse, and they'll say that the car combat was high octane and spectacular, but the ground combat was just alright. They'll say that the story was flimsy and of no consequence and that it was marred by a formula that was on paper fundamentally anti-fun. And they're right. But what they don't tell you is how it would have never been any of these things if its recipe wasn't fundamentally anti-fun. Playing Mad Max goes a little something like this.
Car gone. Think about car.
Make new car.
I tell you, V8 not V6.
Into the ruins, into the wreckage, looking for what they left behind. Then I'm thirsty.
Now you put
All the water.
It becomes
Drink the water.
You put water into a bottle, it becomes the
Be
bottle.
the
You put it in a
water.
teapot, it becomes the teapot.
Your plans for this car, building it up. You gotta do it before we can get past the jewel.
These black fingers are ready to dance, Saint. Oh, yeah. And I know just the steps too. It's called a jack.
And I wonder if I'm ever gonna change the engine.
Help us establish some necessities, and you benefit greatly.
Fuck you, do it yourself. You don't need another hero. Ba-ba-bum. I just need a guest rap man. Ba-ba-bum. And I wanna modify the magnum opus.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless.
The anti-fun formula in Mad Max is grounded in, well, being grounded. It puts realism ahead of mechanics, ahead of the fun. In most games, the gameplay is the stick and the story is the carrot or excuse for your gameplay to exist and progress. And with good writing, you progress at the pace the story urges. That urgency is what pushes you to play better, but Mad Max is different. The gameplay is the carrot and the stick, and sometimes that stick is long. Finding sources of water, filling your canteen with water from the source, drinking the water from your canteen, finding cans of gasoline, filling the cans of gasoline into the can of hot air balloon. Drinking the gasoline cause I carried this fucking can for the whole game and it wasn't enough gas for the fuck. The hot air balloons probably drew the most criticism to this game cause by this point in gaming, everybody was tired after Ubisoft revealed the fog of war in games and much of the open world formula. Couple this with the need to collect scrap and you have everything at your disposal to make a game ass. What carrot could possibly be worth such a grind of a stick? The story, right? Wrong. The story is ass. It's the magnum opus, baby. The magnum opus single-handedly carries the entire game and feeds into the sweet, salty, spicy triangle of replayability that I just made up. In order to have replayability, you need to create a cycle of craving. It's like eating potato chips with chocolate or enjoying salted caramel, but there's also some spice. Instead of needing to upgrade the magnum opus to finish the story, you find yourself only pushing the story forward when you need to upgrade the magnum opus, and she starts bare bones. You build everything up with this car, save for the frame and bodies that you find. The car is the big end carrot, but to get to your result, you gotta drive, punch some dudes in the face, collect the scrap, fill the water, drink the water, drive, punch some dudes in the face, collect the scrap, fill the water, drink the water, sweet, salty, sweet, spicy, carrot. The game makes it seem like you're helping the settlements cause Max is a good guy, but it's more a case of, do you want a better frame? Then you gotta do the wasteland mission. Do you want the big grindy wheels to bind everybody? Then you gotta grind it from the threat level.
I could sure use your help again.
Fuck you, do it yourself. Back to the ruins. Back in the hot air balloons, yeah. Cue the top dog, the paint is mine.
Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle.
It's all good having the craving cycle, but this only works if the gameplay is polished and satisfying. And like I said, this was Warner Brothers Fanta. So Avalanche ripped the combat from the Arkham formula, and this drew as much criticism as the hot air balloon towers, cause you know the Arkham formula is hated in gaming, right? But it's different, yeah. Man, instead of Max doing an entire counter on the triangle, it's just a parry. You block and strike, that's it. Because of this system, you don't get lame generic blocks. He actually blocks the strike and you have a small window to counter with the hands-on button press. Yeah, you could stand still and wait for the attacks to come to counter them, but you don't want it because it's so snappy and the chain strikes are satisfying, especially this one, and running to the enemy with I never upgrade to the shoulder bash because you can't beat the running haymaker. You just charge in with a jawbreaker. It's a brawl. This is the brawliest fighting system, even brawlier than Kiryu's brawl style. It strikes such a fine balance between cinematics and gameplay, but it doesn't play itself. The goal is to never be hit and Mad Max the combos. After upgrading Max with some of the most creative dusters I've ever seen in Wasteland parry bars, Max becomes a pretty unstoppable force, and this fighting system is what lends to the sweet and salty. It's so satisfying, it makes it almost worth the scrap collecting. It's something you can find multiple times and it just never gets tiring, because just as you get tired of the normal snap hits, Max gets mad.
Caveman hit. Suplex. Caveman kick. Caveman shoot. Shotgun. Caveman bam. Caveman. Caveman. Caveman.
Empty your teapot. Be formless, shapeless, like a teapot.
Give me a choice of any game and I'd probably choose a densely populated urban setting focused kind of game first. And then I'd be open to forests and multiple biome worlds like Red Dead and so on. But the bottom of this list for me for any game is the fucking desert. I hate the fucking desert, but not the wastelands of Mad Max. The landscape tells way more story than the dialogue intends to. You start off on a long dried up seabed. There are cliffs that were once reefs and dried up dead coral, whale skeletons scattered on this side of the desolate regions, and almost poetically in the same sense, ship skeletons marking the rib cages of giant metal beasts long extinct from no purpose. You drive by dried up boys and find a top dog in what was once a deep sea oil platform, and take shelter in the carcass of a massive tanker, only to flee to the nearby lighthouse as you reach the shores, and then to the broken ship that was docked by the bay. Bust your way through the jaw, which is the loading port, and nitro past the ruins of industrial, fictional Australia on your way to Gastown. But littered all along the way are camps to clear out for scrap to upgrade your magnum opus, and the way they laid out from the camps to the scavenging locations are packed with hints of the lifestyle post-apocalypse. You'll see makeshift shelters, tired toilet seats, old couches, whatever couldn't decay, creating a home for the rabid residents of these plains. And what's crazy is how creepy these places can get, considering it's just people. I got a shotgun and knuckle dusters, but sometimes I still get creeped out. I mean, look at this fucking guy. Get the fucking ferret, motherfucker. This deeply immersive harmony in the landscape combined with the satisfying combat makes that mundane anti-fun recipe necessary. It wouldn't be so interesting if I didn't have to grind scrap. It wouldn't be creepy if I didn't have to venture where I wouldn't in real life, and it wouldn't be Mad Max without cool car combat.
Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
When you think of Mad Max, three things come to your mind. Mel Gibson, a button-operated supercharger, and a sawed-off shotgun. But this game went Martin Briggs on the motherfucker. The harpoon, the thunderpoon, the ramming, the car combat is just, you can make this the whole game and I would be satisfied, okay? The thunderpoon will knock your enemies out of their socks and shoes, literally. Watch the wreckage so out of frame and then it returns in the frame on its fucking way back down. It's cinematic in a playable way. Destruction is fun and physics-based destruction is even better. And mixed up with the flying car parts are the dismembered limbs of your enemies, some blood spatter, and a momentum-based explosion system that just it spreads with its chain reactions. There's nothing more satisfying than quick shotgunning as you ram into enemies or enjoying the camera as you first person find the damage. And it gets so much better with the supercharger. It's just not Mad Max without a V8, right? The vehicular combat was drawn from the ground up by Avalanche Studios and is such an underutilized mechanic in games. Vehicular combat developers look this shit up. Boost into your enemy to T-bone them. Boost into a ramp, jump, slow-mo aim, lock on, and fire back into real time. This is just fun. There's nothing else that matters. It doesn't need a control well. The car doesn't need a handle well. It doesn't need to have a story reason why the thunderpoon homes in on enemies. You don't have to drive perfectly. It's just heaps of unfiltered, high-octane, unleaded, crude oil, unrefined fun. And isn't that what we play a video game for? Mad Max's story is ass, but it's not executed poorly. There's not much depth to the writing, but there's no terrible acting. It's designed to have as little impact on the Mad Max verse as possible, so everything that could change the movies ends. Nothing carries from this story. Max comes along, does this whole game, and then fucks off into the sunset like it never happened. What it does do well, when it isn't treating you like a dumbass with the yellow paint, is get itself out of your way so you can play the real story. The real story is told in the game. It's in the world. It's in how you disarm the mines and get shotgun shells so you know what type of mines they were. It's in the design of the Thunderpoon or Max's scattergun. It's in the rust on the Magnum Opus, the unburned fuel, the environment, the Outcrier's mobile generator slave. It's in the scavenging locations, the settlements, the containers in the wild, this skeleton reaching for a can of dog food, this corpse in the room with all the boxes, the buzzard's lair. You see what I'm getting at here? Replayability. Mad Max is an open world game that benefits from being an open world game despite that open world being the equivalent to licking sand. The world is what progresses you. It is not the plane with which this game exists. It is your playground. It's an open world that makes you need to complete it because you want to upgrade the car.
Drive car. Life good. Game done. Think about game. Start new game.
Ain't we a pair? Raggedy Man. Goodbye, soldier.